Hi there, I'm Hendrik and welcome to this in-depth look at the Osprey Levity 45. It's this backpack over here. Let's dive right in and see what this pack is all about. Before you watch on, I need to disclose that I got this backpack for free from Osprey and I also got paid to make this video and review. It did not influence my opinion on the pack, but watch on to see what else I have to say about it. Alright, let's take a look at the Osprey Levity 45. I have it right over here and I have it packed with exactly the gear I would be taking along on a long weekend trip. But I have taken the Osprey Levity 45 for a week of backpacking across the Cairngorms in Scotland. So you can fit gear and food for a week into this pack if you pack ultralight. And ultralight is all what I'm about, so let's take a look what I've packed into the Osprey 45. The Osprey Levity 45 and its bigger brother, the Levity 60, are the pinnacle of lightweight backpacks that Osprey produces. So Osprey produces a lot of backpacks, from packs that can carry 85 liters and over 20 kilos in comfort to previously the Exos and nowadays the Levity. So the Levity is the lightest backpacking backpack that Osprey makes. The Levity is made from lightweight materials and it has a ventilated back, so that is especially comfortable for hikes in the summer or in very warm environments where you want to minimize the sweat on your back. Let's have a quick look at how I pack my Levity 45. The Levity 45 has two side pockets. They're not really very elastic, so it's a bit of a tight fit sometimes, but you can access them from the top and from the side. I carry in mine my Kuksa, a gorilla pot for the camera or a regular tripod, and some snacks. So a pretty normal setup of what one carries in a side pocket on one side. On the other side pocket I have a liter of water and probably could fit another bottle of water in there if I really need to carry a lot of water. And in the front, let me open the top lid, you have a non-elastic front pocket. It does have a gusset over here, so you can put wet stuff in there, like a tarp or a fly sheet of your tent, so the liquid would go out. I carry usually a wind jacket or my hard shell in there, depending on what I'm wearing, and the other one goes in there. It's pretty spacious, but because it is not elastic, you can't overstuff it, and it depends a little bit on how much stuff you have in the main compartment of the backpack. Here on top of the pack you have a zippered pocket like you have on pretty much every good backpack. I use this to keep wallet, my knife, backup camera because, well, I'm a photographer, spare gloves, and something to light a fire, and really important because I always forget this, my long handle titanium spoon, so that goes up in there. I always know it's there and I never have the problem that I'm at camp and I'm looking for my spoon and I have no idea where it is, or I forgot it at home, God forbid. So pretty spacious over here. You can put a lot of stuff in there. I think I probably can fit 4 liters of stuff in there, which sounds a lot, but it really, I just shove stuff in there and there's space and space and space. On the back panel, the Levity 45 has an airspeed mesh and it has an aluminium frame over here that keeps the mesh away from the back of the backpack. So that means over here you have this airflow This has worked pretty alright for me. It really depends how much gear you put into the backpack. So at the beginning of my 1 week backpacking trip, it got quite full because of a lot of food, and then it was pushing inside of here, this one, and you didn't have that much airflow. But if you have very little gear in there, you have a nice space over here and you should be sweating less. Besides the airspeed back panel, you also have these mesh covered shoulder straps that have a foam cushioning in there. They're super comfortable. I was not convinced of them as I got the pack, but after carrying the pack for over a week, and it was pretty heavy because of all the camera gear and the drone, they're really comfortable. They fit to your shoulders. There's nothing that's like pinching you or is uncomfortable, at least for me, and I was super happy with these. I also can attach my Peak Design Capture Pro plate over here, so I have my camera always within reach and access, and that is super great. There are load lifters on the shoulder straps, so you can put the shoulder straps a bit further up and get a little bit of rest on your shoulders if the pack is really heavy. The hip belt, on the other hand, is also very comfortable, very simple. There's not a lot of padding over there, but it does its job for me really well. It might be for some a little bit on the narrow side, that it doesn't go really far over your hips, but for me, with my slim build, this has been a really comfortable hip belt, and I've been really happy with the whole carrying system side of the backpack. Now that you have seen what I'm packing in the side pockets, the front pocket and the lid pocket, let's see what's inside of the backpack and how I pack it. Okay, let's take a look what's inside of the Levity 45. So it has a draw cord closure over here. And then there's a strap that connects the front side inside of the pack with the back side, so you can get the weight from the front a little bit further to the back, which should make it more comfortable to carry. Okay, I've got another big lens over here and a warm down jacket because, well, it's always nice to wear a warm jacket when you arrive at camp. I've got my stove, food with a couple of meals, coffee, snacks, breakfast and so on. Spare clothes, because nothing is nicer than slipping into some dry clothes when you've arrived at camp and set up the tent. I've got here my shelter. This is a tarp, my sleeping mat. I have a bivy bag, and at the end I got an Astukas Sestros quilt over here in a dry bag, so it stays nice and dry. I have used the Osprey Levity 45 for a 1 week backpacking trip across the Cairngorms in Scotland. I have carried all my food and all my gear in this pack, and it has been fantastic. It has been really rainy. The gear inside stayed dry, so there's some kind of DVR coating on the material of the backpack, which helps protect your gear from rain and snow and other moisture. And I've been really happy with the backpack. Of course, there's always something that I think could be better in a backpack. In the case of the Osprey Levity 45, it are the front and side pockets. The front and side pockets are made from a really durable material, but it has almost no stretch, which means you're very limited in the amount of stuff that you can squeeze in over here. I come from other backpacks which have a mesh front and side pockets, and these are super stretchy and you can put a lot of stuff extra in there, and that's super comfortable, especially if you need to carry like your complete wet tent, or you want to carry extra food for the first couple of days and you don't have the space in the main compartment. So I really would have wished that Osprey would have gone with a super stretchy front and mesh pocket. I do understand why they didn't go with it. These materials over here are fairly waterproof and they're super durable. So that means this pack is going to be very long lasting, whereas with mesh front and side pockets, these are usually not very abrasion resistant, so they wear through in a matter of seasons, so depending on how much you use them. Another thing that irritated me a little bit with the Osprey Levity 45 was the amount of dead space the inner main compartment can have. You see over here, this is empty right now because I didn't pack it very well. If I was out in Scotland or would go out on a longer tour, I would put a lot of small stuff down here. But the way it is designed, the main compartment, that it goes with these fins over here that are the frame also, it generates this kind of corners in the down backpack that are pretty difficult to fill, that you really need to consider when packing. Like, yeah, my really small bivvy I need to put in this corner, and then the spare socks or something like that I put in the other corner, so that you don't have this empty space over there, and then maybe you run out of space and you just realize it when you reach the top of the packing thing, and that's a bit annoying. So it would have been nicer if it would have been like a straight round barrel that is easier to pack, where you don't have these corners at the bottom that you could forget about, that you need to squeeze something in there because otherwise it doesn't fit into the backpack. If you are now curious about the Osprey Levity 45, check the links in the descriptions. I will link to shops that already carry this backpack. And if you have questions that you want to have answered before you buy, hit me up in the comments and I will try to answer these questions right away. Other than that, I really would like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video about this backpack and me enjoying nature out here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I really give it a think about it, because there's more ultralight backpacking gear reviews and impression videos like these coming, and I think if you are having some wishes for videos about gear that I should make, again, leave a comment and I will consider making that video that you wish for. Alright, thank you for your time and enjoy the outdoors.